is like my flow is like
Hello, anybody here? Let's get that music down a bit. There we go. That should be better. How are you all doing? Having a great week? Did you guys have a great weekend? How was your Sunday? Ooh, where's the webcam? Hey, I'm still bald. Well, technically not bald, but still shaved. Damn, it's cold in here. I'm gonna make myself some tea meanwhile. Well, I just give everybody like 4 more minutes to hop in if anybody wants to join in. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much. This is basically a stream I do every Sunday this time, same time. So that's 3 p.m. EST, right? So it's 9 p.m. London time, London time, which is my time zone. But it's 3 p.m. EST. So if you're awake, jump on. You can catch me on Twitch every Sunday, 3 p.m. EST. Yeah, so I saw somebody do like a YouTube comment on that, and I definitely could. It would be an interesting project to basically, all you're basically doing is transferring information over HTTP, and then the client would have to sort of read the messages and process it and decide what sort of functionality you wanted to trigger based on those messages. But the thing is that it has been done so many times. Not necessarily like a specific tutorial, but there are so many C# based C2 frameworks that demonstrate that sort of logic. So I'll add it to my list of things I might want to do, but I won't make any guarantees for sure. But yeah, make sure you so if you're new here again, all the other live streams are on my YouTube channel. Which is just youtube.com/c/Flangvik. I don't even know how to pronounce my own alias. And currently we are working on C# RosFuscator, cleverly named RosFuscator, which basically uses a framework within C# called Roslyn to parse and interpret C# code, and then we make changes based on that data. So yeah, I'm just gonna make myself a quick cup of tea, then I'll be back, and then we'll get this show on the road. Okay, so that's cooking. Let's switch over to our VM view here. There we go. So this is where we left off last time. Like a quick recap, we started off by doing the ASCII art due to concerns that I might be getting fired if I started another project and didn't start off with the art. So I saw that David was looking for or considering hiring a full-time employee just to go through our internal and public projects and adding ASCII arts. So I mean, yeah, that's definitely a concern in the company at these days. So we started off with that, and then we added some logic to get all the .cs file extensions from a directory, including subdirectories. So basically we're getting all the files that may have C# code, and then we read them in, and then we have a super hacky way of adding a function. So the obfuscation logic that we started with implementing was basic string encryption, which would so the source code in sort of a static state when stored would have all the strings would be encrypted within a unique key per string, and then on runtime we would decrypt the keys, and that value would then make sense. Again, that's just to avoid static signature detections that look for strings, specific strings in binaries and stuff. So to be able to do that, we need a function that can encrypt and decrypt data. And I used, keep it super simple, I used XOR, because then you can use the same function for encrypting and decrypting, encryption and decryption. So we did like a super hacky logic of, okay, if where the source code contains this, which is basically the start of the program class in any default project, replace it with this, which is basically the same start, but then also includes a function. So we need to make this considerably less shitty, for sure, because this is shitty. It works though, but it's shitty. So after we did that, we parsed that code into Roslyn, and then we got ourselves what's called the root tree, which is basically like the main collector of data in Roslyn. And then we started, basically we made an override function in string collector that would parse all the data in Roslyn and then spit out different sort of node types. So if the node type is a string, then we want to do that. If the node type is a string but a parameter, we can't touch it because it would break code, stuff like that. We implemented very specific logic to avoid breaking code. And then after we basically parsed out and got all the strings in the code, we went through the strings, encrypted them, created our sort of little decryption snippet. We replaced the original content with that decryption snippet, and then we compiled it, or we put it back together and wrote it back to the original text file. And we tested this against I can't recall. Let's see. I think we tested it against seatbelt last time, and that worked fine. So there's two things I want to do this stream. First, I want to clean up this. This needs to be less shitty, because this will only work on seatbelt or very specific projects. And second, I want to add method obfuscation. Basically, I want to rename every method in the entire project to something random, again, so that signatures or antivirus won't be able to easily statically implement signatures for method names. So I guess we'll start off with cleaning off this. So there's a couple of different ways. Roslyn has a way of implementing methods directly, but it's super complicated. And I'm a KISS guy. I'm gonna look like a fool now because I can't recall if it's keep it stupid simple or keep it simple stupid. Either way, I'm a KISS kind of guy. I like to keep it as simple as possible. I freaking hate overcomplicating stuff for no reason. So I think I'm gonna sort of make the same hacky approach, but it's gonna be considerably less hacky. So instead of looking for this specifically, which would require the correct amounts of spaces and stuff, I'm gonna read the source code in line by line, and when I get to a line that contains the main function, which every C# console application has to contain a main function, I'm going to add this to the line above. I'm gonna I'm gonna use that as like, okay, this is where I am. I'm gonna add function above or below it, right? So the way we would do that is that we can do it in two ways. So we can do like and then file read all lines, and this will sort of parse the new line statements in the code for us. Or we could take what we already have and do, so we would do this and then split on new line. That would be the same. Technically that would be the same. I'm sure that the default like file class in C# has a better error handling and everything for this. So I think I'm gonna lean but then again, we already had that. Okay, so let's try this, right? So we take the source code and we split it by new lines. We should have the source code sort of some way formatted. And then when we hit, so let's just loop through these lines. So for each source code line in that array of source code lines, if that source code line contains the main function, so that would be main, like this, And then, so I'm just gonna create a new project right now, just to sort of make sure I know what a main function in C# looks like. So let's just create like a new default console application in C#. So .NET Core Net Framework, and then this, and then, okay, yeah, so I have it here. So yeah, console app pusher. I basically just want to see what the main function looks like. I think this will do. Okay, so it's a big M, right? And it also has to take in string args. So we can look for this, for sure we can look for this. So yeah, we can look for at least this. This would be fair to look at. So we'll look for this. And then, so that's an if statement, right? So in this state, we are at the line that contains the start of the main function, which again every C# console application has to have to be able to run. So if I go into this console application and I call this something else than main, let's call it like super main. I try to compile it, it's going to complain that, oh, there's no valid entry. Program does not contain a static main method suitable for an entry point. That's why we can look at the main, because it's a fair assumption to assume that most applications will have it. Okay, so what do we want to do when we are at this line? Well, one thing we could do. That's probably correct, like, so you could use, but what would it give me in return? Would it give me the offset to the entry point? Would it give me the function name to the entry point? Because doing it that way would add possibility to obfuscate class libraries as well, right? Because they don't have to contain the main entry point. I could look into that. Oh, well. Damn, I can't type. I blame it on cold fingers, okay? Roslyn, get entry points. Hey, don't be like that. That's true though. Per point. Came with the same results. Okay, I'm gonna just do it this way. Just get past it. But yeah, you could probably, or you could definitely use Roslyn to get the entry point. I'm unsure what sort of value we will get back though. Like, probably an object in Roslyn then. Because the way we're using Roslyn right now is that we're using Roslyn to sort of give us the functions names and method names and sort of snippets of the actual source code, and then we're manipulating the source code manually. Which again, I think I said this earlier on another stream that like ideally you would use Roslyn to manipulate the code as well, but it's more complicated, and I want to keep it like super simple and super stupid. So that's why I'm manually modifying the source code instead of using Roslyn to modify it. So let's just continue this path right now. Right, so at this point we are at the line that contains the start of the main function. So there's a couple of ways we could approach. We could get the index of this line, and then we could append our function within them. I think I would just add this into this current line and then add a new line separator. So I think I would do this. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't type today again. Oh my god, I'm blaming this on cold fingers. So source code. Isn't there like an index? Okay, it's specific to array. Okay. So this will give off the index. Yeah, right. So I don't use Bing, right? But this VM is sort of clean, so it defaults to Edge and Bing. But it has definitely gotten better over the years. I mean, just the fact that Microsoft switched over to the Chromium ROM from IE was a huge step forward. I still don't use Edge though. Still use Firefox. So I use Firefox and Chrome. I use Chrome specifically for work. So I can have like a work profile within Chrome with everything saved and stuff. And then I use Firefox for everything else, sort of to keep it separated. Right, so we are at the, we have the index of the start of the main function. So what we could do now is that I could do, so like this, and then at that main index equals my fancy encryption function, which is this. So I would take that out, and then I would, okay, so I'm gonna take this whole one now. So var function codes, and then I could just snip this out like that. And again, this is sort of hacky, but oh my god, Melvin, typing is hard, right? So let's see if this works at all. That would be great. Yeah, so I hard-coded some arguments right now. Okay. Directory name is invalid. Did I delete it? Did Defender get turned back on for no reason? Yeah. It's always Defender, man. Defender just decides to turn back on whatever it wants. So why does this... Oh, no, okay. I was like, what is going on? So the first file is program.cs, so it should kick in on that. So for each source code line, if the line contains main, no it didn't, so the line was using system, which is the first line. Right, yeah, so I did consider it, but I was genuinely afraid of being like, okay guys, so you wanna like being that guy, being seriously out of breath while trying to stream, because no shame, I'm a big guy. Right, so this source code line contained main, so it got the index of that, so that was index 6. And then okay, so I need to, okay, so it should break here. So I should add that it breaks out of this for each, but it does for no reason to to like keep going at that point. So I could just break out and then I'll restart it. And then if maintain's more than 6, which it is, I get that, and then this. So if I look at this now, yeah, it does like this. So I successfully added the function. And now we need to get this back into, well, technically we don't, but string collector, there we go. So I need to put this back sort of into the original source code. Yeah, I need to. So I'll do this. We'll take the original source code lines. And I think it's just string join. Yeah. And then the separator, which is going to be nothing. And then the object. Okay. Didn't like that. Oh. Yeah. Right, so I think I did that on my main machine. I have to look it up every time. But I think last time I tested it with Defender's check and stuff, so I didn't fully disable it, because then it won't run. Thank you. Thank you for the bless you. But yeah. A lot of people don't know that at all, that you can disable it manually, but Defender is just great stuff. Okay. So yeah, we parsed it. We successfully parsed it. We got a 3. Then it's going to go through it to file all the strings, and it's going to obfuscate it. So let's give it a run and see what happens. Like, does it break completely? Have I borked it since last time? Whatever. Okay, so it ran. So if I go into the seatbelt project and I reload everything, we should see a lot of stuff has been in. Yeah, there we go. So this is the. So it fails to find the function. Why is that? Why wasn't it added? Okay, so I probably worked this part right here. Yeah, there we go. That's the issue. So I'll reset that seatbelt branch to remove our obfuscation, then I'll rerun the obfuscation. How are you doing, Olaf? Have you been having... Has the whole exchange stuff sort of tickled away, or are you still having like up to your neck and stuff to do? There we go. Our function got added. Awesome. So this should build now, and it doesn't. Oh, okay. So we got this is interesting. So it also, what did it do here? Oh, yeah, this is one of those. Wait, what? What is this? Yeah, so I think I still need to have this, just because, yeah. Yeah, right. So I think our IR team had, like most other IR teams currently, when the whole proxy log and stuff was going on, just had so much to do. It was these guys, you as well, Olaf, are the real MVPs. I mean, me and The only reason the main reason me and Justin and Logan and the other guys tried to reproduce the export was to simply help out our IR team, which had so much to do. Hey Karim, hey, what's up? Koselig. So what happens here? There's something. So it's only this file that it does this to. Only file it does it do. Does it get confused by all the comments, maybe? Is that the issue? So, okay. Her. So it totally messes up the spaces and everything in this one particular file. That's weird. Hey, that's nice. Loves to hear that. How are you doing? Gotcha. So I have no idea what this is about, but it only happens to this one particular file. So I'm guessing maybe the comments are throwing Roslyn off. So I'm simply going to give it a super dirty fix, and I'm just going to exclude this specific file from being obfuscated. I don't know why this is an issue at all, but it wasn't before I started the stream, right? I can blame it on that. So this cloud, no, sorry, it was cloud sync provider commands. So that's probably in Windows something C. Nope, where is that file? So it's, yeah, okay, I just need the, where is that file? So it's in seatbelt commands Windows. Yeah. Cloud sync. Wait, is this some sort of old file or something? This is so weird. That's weird. Okay, so it's on the mix. Oh, this is the wrong one. Okay, I'll rerun the obfuscation another time just to make sure, but yeah, so I think that we managed to add that function just fine. Again, it's super hacky, but it works. That's the approach. Then we are going to need to get all the method names out of the C# code using Roslyn, and that's actually pretty straightforward. My main concern about this is if you're doing so. I'll guess we'll try first with simple implementation, and then we see how many errors we get, and we'll try to sort of shut it down from there. We'll basically try to put out the flames as they appear. I think that's going to be our main approach here. So get all the method names from source code. So if you just Google C# Roslyn get method names, not invoke, yeah, so this you can basically just nodes of type method declaration syntax. So that's one way of doing it. We could also implement it into our already sort of overloaded function. So we could do, where's our root? is the function, right? This envelope, gotcha. So this should be method names. Another way we could do this is that we could go into our sort of overload function, and then instead of having a string dictionary, we could have like a method dictionary. And then for each like method declaration, we could add that to our method declaration dictionary. And then we could just use it like we do our string declarations. And then we can add filtering and stuff in link here as well as in that overload. So I think we're gonna do that. So method dictionary, method name, or method item, I should say. There we go, and then we can do like console write line. And then I'll shut some other console write line up so we can actually see what's going on here. There's like a skip here. Yeah, let's just not do that. There we go. So let's see what happens when we run that. So first I want to reset that seatbelt, a branch, and let's run it and see if it gets any of the method names. Nothing, huh? Okay, that ain't great. Unknown. Okay. So let's look at that source code again. He was looking for method declaration syntax. That's basically what I'm looking for as well. That's weird. That is weird. Because I am adding it to the correct dictionary, right? Method deck. Weird. Okay, let's try the one-liner that we started off with then. I'll copy back that one-liner in. Should be, I think it should be get root or something. Get root. Yep. Let's see what that returns, if that's any better. Yeah, let's not stop for that. Yeah, so that works better. That's weird. Weird. Okay. So that should have a value called like text or full name or whatever. But I think it's called just like full text, kind text, full span. Should be something called full text. We can also do get full string, but that will return much more than we want. Okay, we'll see. So let's do. See what happens there. Again, we gotta reset that simple branch before each obfuscation. Let me try again. Okay, so that gets the full method body, which we definitely can work with. It would be much better just to get the name of the method though, instead of the actual full method body. Yeah, so that's another one. apparently console write, well, console write isn't a method declaration, that's for sure. Or was that for main, maybe? We'll see. Yeah, so we need to filter all these out. We don't want that. We want actually full method like declarations, not just references to them. So method declaration, descendant nodes. I guess we can work with it somehow. Okay, so that's not sure if that will show the enum or whatnot. We'll see. So it just says method declaration. Because we're gonna need way more than that. Let's see if anybody has any better identifier. Okay, apparently that is the name. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. So that's the identifier. Awesome. So I think to be able to, how are we going to be able to determine if this is a method reference or a method declaration? Because if it's a method declaration, we want to obfuscate those. We don't want to obfuscate method references or calls, because that could be calls to, say, console write line, which is a default library and not something that we can obfuscate the name of. So we would have to recognize if this is like a full body declaration or if this is just like a short reference. I guess a method call wouldn't start with like public static void. That would be a difference. So we could do like an expression for that. If it starts with public private and then static or not static and then void or any other type, that could be one way. So let's there has to be some property here we can filter on to see if it's a method call. Method declaration, construction declaration, syntax. We could try that, see what happens. What does that look like? Wow, okay, yeah, of course. Okay, so we could do like a super simple or like a stupid simple filtration by just looking if it starts with public or private, right? So found method name, if that body starts with say public, so if I guess we want to do contains And then because starts with, we could have spaces in front, we could trim those, but a simple one would just be to do like contains and then public and a space. This would make sure like the public isn't part of the name, it's actually in front. And then we could do, okay, then this method is something we want to obfuscate. So we could put that into like a var method list of strings, which is like all the method names that we want to obfuscate. So method identifier. And then for each of those, we could just generate those with random names. So yeah, right. So again, this is just sort of to see if this is I would have to get a better way, but yeah. So like public or private, I guess, would be the beginning, and then you have internal as well. So there's a bunch of access as you said, there's a bunch of access modifiers there. I'm just want to see if this is like a viable way in the beginning at least. There has to be some sort of property within this construction declaration syntax object that I could use to separate them from each other. Like there has to be. I just can't think of one right now. So hey, one money or en penger. Right now I'm creating a C# obfuscator called RosFuscator or something. This is part 3 of a series. You can find the rest on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll do this right now, but as you say, yeah, this public is just one of many access modifiers you can have in front of a construction method. I just want to see if this sort of works at all. Okay, then we have method name, and then we can just go through each method name, like method name, and then in the source code here, which would be this. Another thing is that the function can't start with a number, so I'm just going to do this underscore first. That should fix it. Let's see. Let's see if this does anything at all, or if it's just trash. So exactly what MeCat said. So when I started wanting to doing development work, the go-to thing was to read some basic programming books or YouTube series, introduction series. But I always found them extremely boring because they never did anything, right? They said, okay, this is an array, this is an int, this is a string, this is an array of strings, this is how you move. Like, obviously you have to understand the basics, but they were boring because I didn't like initially see how this was useful. So if I were you and I was going to start on something, yeah, I would have to read first get up to understanding how the code structure works. Like, okay, this is a method, how do you call a method, what is a method? You have to get those basics. But when it comes to making progress yourself, I would do exactly what MeCat said. Think of something you want to make, preferably something that isn't directly stupid, or like this is probably stupid. Like, that's not what I meant, but like something not a calculator. Like, most people don't want to make a calculator as their first programming project. Maybe you want to make a project that makes like your outdoor lamp go on and off, or something, maybe something practical, right? Something that interests you. And then I would just try to forcefully do that. It's 100% going to be shit the first time you do it, but maybe by the 3rd or 4th or 5th or 10th project, it actually starts to look like something. And one other thing I want you to know, that if you post anything on Stack Overflow, you're going to get fucking harassed. Like, or maybe not harassed, but like you're going, if I would never post anything I create on Stack Overflow, because there's always going to be some guy that's going to tell me that this is crap and I could have done it in a much more efficient way. Read from Stack Overflow, but posting there is yeah, it's not that fun. It's not really like a boost of confidence posting anything on Stack Overflow, just on the note. So you, like, if you want to, yeah, go for it, but like by the first 10 projects I probably wouldn't post on Stack Overflow, just because you would get less than nice comments back. And that's actually like a community issue that Stack Overflow sort of confessed or talked about themselves a while back, if I recall correctly. Okay, so did I run it? I can't recall. Let's reset and let's rerun it. But yeah, basically what Meekat said. Okay, let's see what happened to this poor seatbelt project. Okay, so it worked. We renamed a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so what is this? What is this issue right here? This is weird. Yeah, awesome. So it looks like I need to figure out what this issue is. I'm guessing it has something to do with the fact that I join every time. So okay, yes, I think I know the issue here. So I join source code string lines, but I don't really need to do any of that if this isn't programmed. So like so I'll do this. Instead of doing this here, if I do in fact need to do this for this, I know I'm not making any sense right now. If not, I'm just gonna leave original source code alone. Right, I had another string join here somewhere. I just have to find it. So yeah, there we go. No, that's the one. There we go. Yeah, so sorry, social. Actually, if you're new to developing, you should check out Rastamouse. Rastamouse just started a new YouTube series for beginners in C#. So check out his... I'm actually not sure if he's uploading to YouTube, but you should at least check out his Twitch. You would probably be able to get the last three streams. That's really nice. That's one, and he does that approach that we talked about. He does the whole practical approach by sort of creating examples that do something semi-meaningful instead of just creating random junk that doesn't have a purpose. Even though that is somebody's preferred way. For everybody has different ways of learning, so I'm not going to judge that as being bad. I'm just saying that's how I felt. I didn't want to spend my first day attempting to learn programming by making a calculator. That didn't make sense to me at all. I just felt boring, basically. Yeah, check out Rastamouse' course, or the series, I should say. Okay, so that fixed the issue I was talking about. Awesome. Will it compile? Probably won't. Nope. Yeah, so this is the issue I was talking about. So if multiple classes share references between each other, I treat those classes one by one. So what I need to do is I need to go through all the classes, gather all the unique method names, which may create collisions 100%. Okay, yeah, so they're on this Patreon. Awesome. On Rastamouse's Patreon. So which will create. So I will, instead of, so as I was saying, the main issue right now is I'm getting errors between references. So this class here can't find the runtime class anymore because I just renamed it, but the renaming was done in another process or another class, and they were treated separately. I need to treat them as one. So I could go through all the classes, gather all the distinct method names, and then apply that to the classes one by one. So, so I sort of need to change the flow here. So this needs to be done separately afterwards. So this is fine. This is fine. The adding is fine. This needs to be done separately afterwards. So after all this is done, I need to do it all over again. But now I have a proper list of method names that are distinct. So where is that method name list? It's there. Need to put that out of this for each. There we go. And let's do distinct. Again, this is going to create a lot of collisions, but we'll see how far we get. And then I guess that source code as well can be outside. No, it has to be inside. There we go. So we'll see how this works. Again, we're gonna get a lot of issues here, and I sort of ran into them on another issue a while back, so I'll try to explain them. So again, since we're not using Roslyn to modify the C# code, we're just doing it manually, sort of the man cave way, by just modifying strings. We are going to run into issues where a method name is also in a string, and therefore you're going to get that renamed, and it's going to break something. Or the method name is in like a comment wouldn't break anything, but it's in something else. Thank you for joining in, Olaf. Really appreciate it. See you later. And it just breaks logic because it's multiple references. But now at least this is solved. Yeah. Okay. So again, program. It's not. We're not going to be able to find program because we renamed the whole namespace again because we're modifying strings. So we need to find a way to get around that. And the obvious way right now would be to dive into Roslyn, and do it with Roslyn. So let's look into that. Roslyn rename method, C#. Yeah. So at this point, I think I realize that I have to, at some point, or now, use some sort of complicated C# parser to be able to do this without breaking a shit ton of stuff. And that's simply because even though I get all method names, there's no way for me to know if that method name is somewhere else in something else referenced, right? So in this case, some of the method names also is a function name or a class name, and when I replace that for all the classes, it just breaks. So I need my parser to be able to interpret, okay, this has a reference to that, etc. And there's no way I'm going to be able to, or that I'll be willing to implement all that logic myself. So I'm going to have to look into solutions for that. And Roslyn, while parsing and getting basic data out is great, it seems complicated, like more than I'm willing to get into, to sort of handle this properly. There's some examples. I would have to sort of really get into it off stream. I think it's nothing it's not something I would debug live. So I think the solution might be to, yeah, right. So that is a classic thing, and I straight up, I don't put a lot of like planning and thought into these streams. I sort of don't want it to take up a whole day, so an hour before the stream, I'll usually sit down and think about what I'm going to go through and post on Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah, 0 to 100 real quick right here. But I definitely want to continue it, so I think I might have to look into how Roslyn or any other parser, C# parser. And why am I using Bing? Why am I using Bing? There's no reason I can't find anything. Why am I using Bing? You can see this, right? This is in the VM, yeah. So C#. Why am I using Bing? What the frick? Parse? So, Roslyn, again, as this comment states, the Roslyn project, it's explicitly aimed at exposing all the knowledge the compiler gains about your code base in the process of statically analyzing it, and exposing all this information through managed APIs for your leverage. But why is Roslyn so freaking complicated? Roslyn, rename method, let's try that again. I hate when stuff is unnecessarily complicated. Wait, am I Bing again? Freaking Bing! Google knows everything. Even the I completely forget that I have to manually go into Google because I didn't change the yeah. Ooh, this is a solid example. Okay, this gives me hope. So this is some source code, and then he gets the document trans source code. He gets the root element. He gets the original class. The way we have done it, it just picks out the first one. Then Yeah, I would have to create some solid helper functions for this, but this is going into bookmarks because this is a solid example. I don't know why he's doing this though. He's getting a core lib reference? Why? Why would you need that? Yeah, this is one of Microsoft hasn't answered. Rename or rename? If there's a freaking rename function, I'm gonna be hell mad. No, because those are strings, right? So if there's a rename function, I'm gonna jump ship. That would be sweet. Replace nodes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to confess that I need to look into this off stream. Step one is acceptance, right? Accepting that this project went from 0 to 100 real quick and I now have to put serious effort into it. But then again, if I could create like a helper class that would help me with this, it would be generic. I would be able to share it with you guys so you could use it. It would be super awesome. So I think I might have to look into that. What is this? What? What is this? Was there a project called Roslynator? What is Roslynator? Ooh. What is this? What is Roslyn? This looked sweet. What is Roslinator? Hence why all obfuscators are doing the approach of just reading the C# binary inside. No, this is something different. This is for helping. This is an aid. This isn't what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm going to have to... I guess we could try this for lulz, just because I don't want to end the stream so short. Let's try this. Let's see if this works. But I want to do it. And I want to do it live and not look like a fool. Is that too much to ask? I should really fix my chat for the YouTube videos. When I interact like this, I'm probably messing a lot up for people not being able to view the chat on YouTube later. Oh, this again. This music is actually pretty good. I feel I say this every stream. Legit. Monster Cat, 10 out of 10. Right? So I think the main challenge here would be to sort of streamline the process that's complicated into like a generic helper. So I could just like take a class declaration or a method declaration and just do like dot rename, and then I'm done. That would be super sweet. But okay, so is it reflection or is it, I'm guessing it's code analysis. It's not. Yeah, it wasn't. It was. No, I did it again. You fool. I think I have to add both. I think that's the issue. So this is a document for specifically metadata, and then this is... What's the issue here? Create from file. Create from image. But I can't. I literally cannot do from file because I'm not in the file. Well... Okay, so this is just a generic one, okay. I get why this is a thing then. But, okay. I can just reference my own. And again, I'm just starting with the shitty, so I just need to compile this so I can reference it. Or, yeah. Also, copy as off. I don't think it's matter. I think it's just like a Libra reference. Yeah, I don't think this matters at all. This is just to have like a dumber project for it to be able to handle stuff with, basically. So let's go through this, see if it works. And then we get the document from code. And that fails. Language C# is not supported. What? What are you talking about? The language C# is not supported. That's the whole thing. Literally the whole thing. What? Oh, is it supposed to be in .NET Core maybe? Hey, RevShell in the chat. What's up, man? Well, what's up is that I just figured out that my super simple project is impossible to do the way I wanted it to be done. So I now have to do it the complicated way through actually dealing with freaking Roslyn. I didn't want to do that, but I have to. Oh, no. The language is how I mean the language. I didn't sound it super Norwegian. So how can Roslyn complain about the language C# is not being supported? What the freaking frick? Hey, what's up? Ah, okay. Oh, okay. I get it. Gotcha. Rip, man. Do you know when the 3080 Ti is supposed to release? Do you know anything about that 3080 Ti release? Oh, June. That sucks. Or it's only a couple of months away. Not that I'll be able to get my hands on it anyhow, but I mean, it would be nice to be able to. Where did the music go? Give me a second. Oh, okay. June. Yeah, that's like a month away, early June. So the problem here is that okay, yeah, that's the issue there. I get that. Let's see what happens inside here. Right, so this is like part 3 in a series to attempt to make a C# obfuscator using something called Roslyn, which is something Microsoft makes that allows us developers access to sort of how the C# compiler works. So I can like get all the method names, I can get all the variables, I can get all the strings, I can get the yada 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 from source code, right? RosFuscator, it's called. It's a weirdly named obfuscator. So is that a legit reference? And then it fails because C# is not supported. Okay, let's see if we can get around that. You have the cloud project and the referencing project. Okay. And then I was going to do it like a super simple way where I just used Roslyn to actually extract all the information from the source code, and then just did like a freaking caveman replace. And I didn't really think it through. That's a true story though, legit. Especially if you're trying to add nougat packages. By just restarting, you're good. Basically, no joke. Hey, it worked. Thank you, freaking lifesaver. So this basically just creates a new dummy project. and then it parses that. Then you get a document, and then you get the compilation, and then you do something. You look for class declarations. You do the first. You get the semantic model, and then where do you actually rename it? Rename symbol. Okay, gotcha. And it does everything. This could actually work. What the freaking fuck? It's sometimes IntelliSense is awesome, sometimes it's just not. Most of the time it's just not. Just that. Okay, so this actually worked. That was pretty interesting. So I think the main issue here was if I remove this, will it still work? Or will it work? Hey, it didn't crash. That's awesome. For sure. If anybody is supposed to ever read it, yep. Hey, so what's nice is that when I stop being a developer, I don't have to give a shit about anything. I can just create stuff that's half-ass hacky and works, and then everybody's happy. That's an overstatement though, but really, yeah. Whenever Rastamouse is in my chat, he always complains about me not using unit testing. And I'm like, what is that? Never heard of that. What is that? Never heard of. What even is that? Right? What even is that? No, yeah, right. I know what it is. I'm just playing with him because he's really good at implementing it when he ever, even if he just like creates tiny offensive projects. He always, or he most of the time implements some sort of unit testing. I'm like, nah, who needs that? It works, didn't it? Right? It totally worked. So I think I might be like able to get around this by just loading a solution instead. So Roslyn, load solution. Load solution. There we go. Don't really need that. Didn't I create like a, yeah, I created a new workspace here, right? Hmm. Do I really need MS Build workspace? Ooh. Gotcha. I'm doing some development work on. So where can I find this? I'm creating a C# obfuscator proof of concept stuff, and it turned out to be way harder than I thought it was going to be. There we go. Probably needs this. Do you think it's that? Or do you think it's this? 9, that's probably one of these. I freaking hate packages. So why isn't this resolving? That's weird. So why? Well, this is totally doable. I can like loop for each source code now and replace the class names and stuff. This doesn't take advantage of how Roslyn can help me find references between classes in the same solution. So really, I would like to load the solution or the resolution, the solution, so Roslyn can do its magic. But yeah, I think I could probably sit here and play with this for hours. But I am going to need to do like some proper deep level dive into Roslyn by myself off stream, and then I promise when I get back next Sunday, I'll know more what I'm doing and probably will be able to make more progress. But yeah, the title of this episode should be 0 to 100 real quick, basically. When you realize you're in deeper than you thought you were, basically. Yeah. So I think that's going to be it for today. It's definitely possible. Ideally, I think we should load the entire solution in Roslyn, and then pull out the class names, method names, variable strings, do our magic with it, and then save it back to a solution, or even compile it, even better, compile it using Roslyn so you can get a pre-purpose binary straight out of it. And this way, we could integrate this into CDI pipelines to be able to automatically obfuscate projects as they come in, etc. So I really haven't gotten that far to look at threading. I'm still in the POC stage. I'm still just trying to understand how we could use this to our advantage. Right. So yeah, I think I sort of have to cut it here. I'm sorry. I have to cut it here so I can look at this off stream and sort of make more sense of it. So I want to thank you all for joining in. I really appreciate it. Go check out my Twitter account, Flangvik, same for YouTube. I really would love it if you could subscribe to that YouTube channel. If I could hit like something more than what I have now, that would be amazing. Maybe in the future I'll make like more actually edited and good looking there we go. Give me a second. So it's social. Yeah, so it's not going to have a user interface at all. It's just going to be CLI. Give it a solution project, maybe toggle on what sort of obfuscation features you want, and then that's it. Damn, this music is fire. So you can find all the old recordings. I have done some other pretty interesting smaller series before this. Take a look at those, might be good. Again, this is sort of the dirty, hacky caveman approach to creating offensive tooling in C#. There are always going to be better approaches and more efficient ways of doing it. This is more sort of a how I approach stuff kind of deal. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys joining in. Thank you so much. Again, next Sunday, same time, 3 p.m. EST or 9 p.m. London, Central European time, I guess. Yeah, thank you so much. Peace out.
Years are passing by and all I think about is when we were new school. Flipping off police, drinking beers underage in a swimming pool. But times have changed and we're old now. I think our heat's getting cold now. And now I'm just in love with your cold shoulder. Cause we fight and then we make love. We break up and then we 2 o'clock and now we're day drunk. Love it when we hate fuck. Nobody can change